Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I am Smruti Deshpande and today we will talk about major defense and security events that took place in 2024, which was an eventful year on many counts. From some important inductions and contract signings to unending delays and major breakthroughs, the defense sector saw it all. One of the biggest developments of the year came on October 21st when Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri announced that India and China had agreed to disengage at the line of actual control and were working to resume coordinated border patrolling. Following the announcement, India and China disengaged from the two face-off points of the Depsang Plains and Demchok in eastern Ladakh, pulling back troops to the pre-2020 positions and dismantling checkposts, defensive positions, housing and shelters created during the standoff period, as has been reported by ThePrint earlier. The final decision on disengagement was taken after 21 rounds of co-commander level negotiations and 17 rounds of negotiations by the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination in India-China Boundary Affairs since June 2020. The Ministry of Defence, in its year-end review, described the overall situation along the LAC to be stable but sensitive. The achieved consensus includes disengagement and relocation of troops from the friction areas of Depsang and Demchok, followed by joint verification. In another major achievement, the Defence Research and Development Organization successfully test-fired Agni V ballistic missile with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology. The MIRV technology helps the intercontinental ballistic missile in carrying several independent warheads as well as miniaturizing them. What this means is that apart from targeting different locations, the launch of multiple warheads through ICBM helps in evading the missile defense systems laid out by the adversary. With a single warhead, the chances of getting detected are more. These warheads could also include decoys to hoodwink the enemy's ballistic missile defense program. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the success of the test in March. The event marked the land-based continental ballistic missiles first testing with the MIRV technology. This put India in an elite club comprising the US, the UK, France, Russia and China. For the Army, one of the major developments came with the Indian light tank Zorawar achieving a major milestone by firing several rounds at different ranges at an altitude of more than 4,200 meters. This was subsequent to the Phase 1 trial in the desert environment in September 2024. This light tank has been designed and developed by Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment for the Indian Army. It is manufactured by the industry partner Larsen & Toubro. In 2024, the Indian Navy saw several warships being commissioned. The most important commissioning was that of the second Arihant class submarine INS Arighaat on August 29th at Visakhapatnam. It's a nuclear-powered submarine which will enhance India's nuclear deterrence. The construction of INS Arighaat involved the use of advanced design and manufacturing technology, detailed research and development, utilization of special materials, complex engineering, and highly skilled workmanship. The technological advancements undertaken indigenously on this submarine make it significantly more advanced than its predecessor INS Arihant. Subsequently, India tested a nuclear-capable ballistic missile with a range of around 3,500 kilometers from INS Arighaat off the coast of Visakhapatnam. It was the first test of the submarine-launched ballistic missile from a submarine. The Indian Navy also launched the fourth nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine S4 at the Shipbuilding Center in Visakhapatnam. It was launched a day after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the very low-frequency naval station in the Vikarabad district of Telangana for command, control and communications with strategic assets of the Indian Navy. Another major commissioning was that of INS Tushil, the latest multi-role stealth guided missile frigate. It was commissioned into the Indian Navy in the presence of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at the Yantar shipyard in Russia on December 9, 2024. In the beginning of the year 2025, the Indian Navy will commission the Visakhapatnam class stealth destroyer Surat, Nilgiri class stealth frigate Nilgiri and Scorpion class submarine Vagshir. Furthering India's naval nuclear capabilities, in October this year, the government approved a project to build 2 nuclear-powered submarines. Paving the way for future inductions, one of the major highlights of the year in the defense sector came when the Ministry of Defense inked a contract with the US government for the procurement of 31 advanced drones, the MQ-9V Sky and Sea Guardian High Altitude Long Endurance Remotely Piloted Aircraft System, also known as RPAS, in October 2024, worth nearly $4 billion for all the 3 services. The procurement of these drones will assist in carrying out intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions. For the Air Force, the Ministry of Defense signed a contract for the procurement of 12 Sukhoi 30 Mki aircraft along with associated equipment in December 2024. This comes at a time when the Indian Air Force is severely short of fighter jets. The Ministry of Defense also inked a contract with Larsen & Toubro Limited in December 2024 for the procurement of K9 Vajra T self-propelled tracked artillery guns for the Indian Army under the Buy Indian category. In addition, 2 contracts were signed in March 2024 for the acquisition of 34 advanced light helicopters or ALH Dhruv Mark III along with operational role equipment for the Indian Army and Indian Coast Guard. Furthering strike capability of the Indian Armed Forces, 2 contracts were inked in March for the procurement of BrahMos missiles as well as procurement of shipborne BrahMos system. In several of its meetings throughout the year, the Defence Acquisition Council granted acceptance of necessity for a number of items to provide a substantial boost to the Indian defence industry and reduce foreign spending significantly. The DAC and Defence Procurement Board during 2024 accorded acceptance of necessity for 40 capital acquisition proposals amounting to more than Rs 4 lakh crores. Some of the acceptance of necessities which were granted were for future-ready combat vehicles, air defence fire control radars, Dornier 228 aircraft, next generation fast patrol and offshore patrol vessels, new generation anti-tank mines, air defence tactical control radar, heavyweight torpedoes, medium range maritime reconnaissance and multi-mission maritime aircraft, flight refueler aircraft, software defined radios and advanced light helicopters for surveillance in coastal areas among others. Coming to setbacks, the year 2024 saw several inductions and capability boosts. However, the forces were faced with certain setbacks as well. For the Indian Navy, an unfortunate incident occurred in July 2024 at the Western Naval Command after INS Brahmaputra was severely damaged following a massive fire on board. The incident occurred when the ship was undergoing refits at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai. The fire was brought under control by the crew with the help of firefighters at the dockyard. The Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, announced in December that the ship had now been returned to an upright position. He said the ship was in a dry dock in Mumbai for assessing the extent of damage and a decision would be taken about what is to be done with the ship in future. Coming to the Air Force, one of the major issues faced by the Air Force was the delay of Mark 1A. Away from commissionings and contract signings, the Indian Air Force experienced a major upset due to delays in GE engine deliveries to India, which are meant to power the LCA Mark 1A fighter jets developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited or HAL. In February 2021, the Defence Ministry had signed a Rs 48,000 crore deal with HAL for 83 LCA Mark 1A fighter jets. It is a more capable fighter than the current LCA Mark 1 already in service. Following this agreement, in August 2021, HAL signed a deal with GE Aerospace for 99 F404 aircraft engines and support services for the LCA Mark 1A. There has, however, been a delay in the deliveries of the engines which may be delivered next year, further causing delays for the Mark 1A fighters to come to the Air Force. This comes at a time when India's fighter squadrons are limited. In March, the Cabinet Committee on Security cleared the project to design and develop India's 5th generation fighter jet, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, also known as AMCA. The development of this aircraft will, however, take time, and if the estimated timelines are taken into consideration, the AMCA fighter jet will go into production only by 2035.